Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Well, today's a little bit of a different video. I see all these nurses doing their little Instagram baddie posts before their shift, wearing their FIGS scrubs. And I said, I've just got to put some on my body and figure out how I feel about it. I feel mixed about it. Some of these pieces I feel like are great staple pieces. Other pieces, I don't really get why they're charging what they're charging for a little bit of contour around the booty area. All in all, I've got 4 pairs of pants, 2 shirts. I'm also going to cover the shirts that I returned and why, because a couple of those did not work out for me. And for a little bit of background, I work at a dental office. I mostly do front desk, but I recently started doing some assisting, and I will give you the pros and cons regarding pants specifically. Some of these pants just aren't that comfortable to sit in, and I'll go over that as well. Without further ado, let's just get into it, and I'm going to try on some clothes. This first top is the Everly Slim Fit V-neck scrub top. Something that I have really noticed about FIGS scrubs is that they tend to fit on the looser side, even though they seem to be more slim fit than a lot of other scrub brands. So truthfully, even though this is a size small, I kind of wish that I had gotten an extra small. This is very similar to the Catarina Scrub top, but a big difference is that there is a side mesh panel. There is a side mesh panel right here, which is really quite stretchy. And it's nice because it comes all the way up through the armpit area. It's really nice compared to most scrub tops, which really don't usually have any give in them whatsoever. So the fact that I've got full range of motion, I can reach down, pick something up, and it's not getting tight in my back and in shoulder area is really nice. Especially because I find that I have a larger chest size. Most scrub tops that fit me everywhere else will tend to be like really tight in this area. So I honestly will probably order 2 or 3 more of these and just have these as my regular scrub tops. Though I think I will get it in a size extra small and see how that goes. The one thing I will say is the shoulder seam is pretty much right there at the shoulder where it's supposed to be. So if I do get a smaller one, I am a little concerned that the shoulder will be a little bit too short, but I think it should be okay. The biggest thing I will say is it has absolutely stretched out with washing it and drying it. So initially it was a little bit more slim fit than it is now. And this scrub top is a 1-pocket scrub top. I do prefer to have my shirt tucked in during the day. So I prefer not to have pockets right here, but that's really just personal preference. Our office uniform is to have black scrubs. I have a pet, and something that I have noticed just in the washing and drying process is that the black really does kind of accumulate just little tufts of lint and the occasional pet hair. This is kind of a brushed fabric, and it's not terribly bad. Compared to some other scrub tops, it doesn't accumulate lint as much, but it is definitely a problem with the black. Yeah, so in the light there, you can kind of tell that there is some accumulation of lint. This is probably not a big issue with other lighter colors, but if your office or your school requires that you wear a darker color, that is just something to keep in mind, that it's not necessarily lint-free. All right, so with the Everly Slim Fit top, I will say there's also a lot of stretch in the actual t-shirt material itself and not just in those stretchy side panels. I'm getting a good 4-way stretch, I would say, on the actual shirt portion itself, which is really nice because most scrub tops are made of that stiffer material that doesn't really have any give to it. Now, it's not as stretchy as the side panels, which are made with like a traditional quick dry, think like Nike stretchy t-shirt top. The pants I'm wearing with these are the high-waisted Isabel wide leg pant in a tall because I am 5'9", and I got this in a size small. For the tall inseam, it's 33 inches. This is kind of how it fits around the waist. There was a little bit more room before I started eating good, but it's not too tight. I will say it definitely hugs the glute area quite a bit. There are 2 back pockets here, and then on the right leg, there is a large outer pocket and then a slightly smaller inner pocket, which I tend to put my phone in during the workday. I do like the wide leg, but it's not my favorite. I know it's in style right now, but it's truly not my favorite. Now, something I do want to mention on the wide leg, I am getting some pilling on the inside of the actual pant leg. I've maybe washed these pants 3 or 4 times. I do put them in the dryer on just like regular cycle and I wash them in cold. Okay, so the garment instructions are to wash in the machine on cold and to tumble dry low. I will say this is the first time I've read the care instructions, so I haven't been following that, but the wide leg Isabel pants are the only ones that seem to be pilling, and they are pilling on the inside, which is not that bad, but that is something to be aware of. Honestly, most of my clothes I just chuck all together in the washer and the dryer. So if it starts pilling on the outside, that might be more of a problem. And then the back of the pants are pretty much just this straight across seam. The pockets are sewn pretty flush. And then the waistband fabric is just like a knit material. It does have a decent amount of stretch to it. And it is made out of a different material than the pant leg. So there is some color variation there, but it's not too apparent. And then something I just noticed is that the pilling is starting to show kind of at the base right there where the pant leg is. Once again, it's not bad, but it is just something I'm going to keep an eye on. The pants are more of a smooth brushed material, but they really don't attract much pet fur. So when I'm squatting down, I do get a lot of movement, a lot of range of motion. But when I'm actually just pulling on the pant, it doesn't seem to have too much stretch. It has more of a horizontal stretch than a vertical stretch, for sure. So there's just not a heck ton of give. But when I'm moving around, I feel like the pants really give way with me. So that's really not a problem. All right, this next pair of pants here are the high-waisted Yola skinny scrub pants. And I got these in a tall as well. Size small. They are a 32-inch inseam, and these are my absolute favorite pair of pants that I got here. There is a zippered right leg pocket, which is really nice to be able to close my phone up in. Some of these other pant legs don't have a zippered pocket, and that's on the right leg. On the left leg, there's also an open, larger pocket, and then a smaller pocket as well. And then you've got your 2 front pockets, and on the left side, there's also a little smaller pocket. And then there's also the 2 rear pockets, which are really nice and just kind of accentuate everything. On the bottom here, there's a little slit. It's not much, but it does help kind of lay over the shoes, and it looks really nice. These also have some pretty good stretch. I would say about as much as the wide leg scrub pants. When I squat down, there is a little bit of tightness just in the thigh area. Okay, so these pants are a polyester, rayon, and spandex blend, which is about the same as the other pants were. I'm not sure if all of the FIGS pants have this little inside pocket to put valuables, but certainly these pants do. The waistband is made of the same material that the wide leg pants are. These are by far my favorite pant. I am a little knock-kneed, and so most of the time, skinny pants don't look that great on me because I feel like they kinda highlight that. So I feel like these pants accentuate me in all the right places. Something I will mention, I'm gonna drop my measurements down below, but I have been working out in the gym, and something I've noticed is that in the thigh area, they've definitely gotten a little bit more sausage. So my concern would be if your thigh circumference is bigger than mine, you might want to go ahead and size up, even if you are typically a small, because while there is stretch to these pants as well as the wide leg Isabel pants, there is not enough stretch where it's going to be forgiving and comfortable. So I will say though, if you are someone who has to sit at a office for long periods of time, these are actually the most comfy pants I've found to sit in. Some of the other pants, like the wide leg Isabel pants, I feel like when I sit down for an extended period of time, I almost get some crotch chafing. They almost give me like a camel toe when I sit down. And even though it doesn't look weird, it definitely doesn't feel super great. So that's something I will say is these, if you do work at a desk quite a bit, these are probably more comfortable for that. All right, so this next top is the Catarina Scrub top. I actually got this in an extra, extra small, which is completely unheard of. I never get a double XS in anything ever. So the reason why I got this in a double XS is because I have quickly learned that FIGS scrubs fit great in the pants arena. They fit true to size. I've had no issues with the pants, but I have had so many issues with FIGS shirts. So I saw so many people wearing it's called the Oversized Rafaela scrub top. I ordered that in an extra small because I knew it was already going to be oversized and I wanted something that I could just tuck into my scrubs. But when I got it, it was ginormous on me. And after seeing some other people's reviews, I've learned that FIGS really runs pretty big in their tops. And this is honestly where they start to lose me a little bit. The Everly Slim Fit top fits so good, fits perfect. I will say I've had a little bit of relaxation when it comes to having washed it a couple of times over, but when I've ordered their other tops, I really have not been happy. So the Rafaela top, it just looked stupid. I've seen so many people online who tuck it into their scrubs and it looks awesome on them. But as a girly with a shorter torso, it just looked really stupid on me because everything was just so billowy. And even though I got an extra small, it was still way too big. So when I ordered the Catarina Scrub top, they actually recommended that I order an extra, extra small. So I was like, whatever, I'll give it the old college try. So I ordered this top in the extra, extra small, and I think it fits the best it could possibly fit. But the issue is that it is still pretty, I mean, it's not tight at all. It does fit a little bit better. And I was going to order more of the Everly Slim Fit, but they were sold out at the time. They've since restocked. My issue with the Catarina Scrub top is in the shoulder area. Because I had to size down, you'll see that the seam that should be right here is actually up. And that's honestly because the shirt is too small for me, even though everywhere else it fits good. I have tightness when I move my arms like this. There's tightness in the movement. And unlike the other shirt that has those little panels to actually help with stretch, this shirt doesn't have that. When I'm pulling on it, it doesn't resist too much, but there's really not a lot of give. It's about as much as the pants have, maybe a little less actually. So that's kind of my biggest issue. Do I wear this shirt every other day? Yeah, I do. But I probably wouldn't buy it again because an extra small would honestly be too big, but the extra, extra small is just too tight in the shoulder area. And I don't think it really flatters me super well because it's almost not made for my size. It should be bigger in some areas and smaller in others. So I really think that if I order another FIGS shirt, I would probably get another slim fit top, but they don't really have many options when it comes to slim fit or structured tops. I think that they do a lot of really creative looks, but some of them just aren't very practical for working in a clinical setting day in and day out. Like they have a lot of tops that have these like weird puffy sleeves, and that's great and it looks kind of cool and cute, but it's not practical for, I don't know, it just doesn't seem very practical. It seems more like a fashion statement, but I'm going off on a tangent, so I'm going to shut up. All right. And then these pants are the Livingston high-waisted pant in a tall inseam as well, which was 33 inches. And this is also in a size small. So once again, I've been eating good. So this waistband is a little bit tighter than it has been, but there's still a decent amount of room. And I will say on most of these FIGS scrubs, what gets tight first are the legs and the butt area, and not the waist is usually the last area to get tight because there's always a little bit more room, at least on the high-waisted pants. So like I said, I usually tuck in my scrubs, which is why I like the high-waisted look, because I feel like they look more polished when they're kind of hitting right at that belly button area. Once again, with the black pants, you've got the gray drawstring that's pretty universal. Something about these pants I did not realize when I ordered them is that there are no pockets on your legs. There are only back pockets. So something to be aware of. I go to put my phone in a pocket all the time and there is no pocket there. So, but I will say all of the girls in the office keep complimenting me in these pants specifically and saying that they make my body shape look really good. So, I mean, I guess I'm not mad at them. So when I'm wearing these, they once again they're a really good length. I do wear Hokas. So even though they're kind of sweeping the ground, they don't really do that when I'm wearing my tall joggers. And then there's the back. These pants are definitely less stretchy than the other ones I've tried. And something that I've noticed, especially when I'm sitting at the desk for a long time, is the front seam will kind of ride up and it can get uncomfortable. So if you are at a desk for an extended period of time, that is just something to keep in mind, is that on some of these pants, the front seam just tends to ride up on me when I'm sitting. And I don't know if that's just me, but that is something to be aware of. These pants collect the least amount of dog fur and lint by far. These pants are a bit of a thinner material. Something I like about FIGS in general is they tend to have a thicker fabric, and I get really cold very easily. So I much prefer that to like the Cherokee scrubs that I've been wearing before that. But these are probably more true to like a traditional thinner scrub pant material. They aren't like paper thin. They don't feel cheap or flimsy. They still feel very substantial. But something to keep in mind is just the fact that these are going to be that like thinner, more traditional, not stretchy fabric. And I am starting to think that all of the FIGS pants have this little secret pocket inside. This one's a little bit different though, because it's actually like a detached pocket right here, and you can put your stuff inside. Not that that particularly matters, but that is just a little bit of a difference. And then the waistband in all of these has been pretty similar. It's just kind of like that smooth workout almost t-shirt material, and it's very stretchy. These ties are the same. They've got like a little bit of stretch to them. There are in the back, there is an additional kind of seam down the middle of the pocket on either side. I don't know that that really does much by way of appearance, but it's there. So that's fun. Okay, and then the last pair of pants that I am going to talk about are the high-waisted Zamora joggers. I totally have mixed feelings about these. I was really hesitant to get a pair of joggers in the first place because I thought they were gonna look kind of stupid. I actually don't mind how they look. I think they look pretty good. And I know that this is such a small thing and it probably doesn't even happen to anyone else, but my socks will get caught on my joggers. So if I'm sitting up, if I'm sitting down, if go to move, then the joggers will ride up on my sock line and then they just kind of like stick up there and look kind of stupid. So for that reason alone, I probably wouldn't buy the joggers again. And like I said, I typically sit up at the front and work at the front desk most of the time. So just having them ride up is just not a great look. But if I was standing most of the day, and sometimes I am now, then I don't mind it as much. And I don't think that that would be as much of a problem. So take that for what you will. But the Zamora joggers, when I was actually looking on the website, the picture of the model wearing the joggers, to me, it looked like a very stretchy, almost spandexy material. And it is not that. So just something to be aware of is that this pant material, it's about the same thickness as the Livingston high-waisted pant and about as much stretch. I will say that there's still some good stretch there, but it's not a heck ton. These are also not super form-fitting around my thighs. All right, so these have the 2 front pockets, which are pretty deep. There's the little FIGS emblem right there. And then there is no pocket on the left leg, which is not really a problem for me. And then you've got your 2 back pockets as well. There is a decent amount of room in the thigh area, and it's definitely not hugging me in the calf. I did get the tall in these, which I'm glad I did because once again, I don't really like to show a lot of sock, but I think if you do like to show sock or ankle, then maybe you wouldn't want to get a tall in the joggers, even if you are a little bit on the taller side. Okay, so the one last thing that I ordered from FIGS was the women's black Supersoft Underscrub. And I got that in a size extra small. That is the other shirt that I returned. I think that ordering from FIGS has been a really big learning lesson. Their tops are absolutely oversized. There's no other way to put it. And I don't understand why a scrub brand that really kind of focuses on accentuating women and their bodies in a very flattering way, I feel, really can't seem to do the same with the tops. I was really surprised that, I kept all 4 pairs of pants. I ordered 4 tops and I returned half of them. And I'm not really super happy with the Catarina Scrub top either. I mean, I really like having more stretch. I like having thicker materials because I do get really cold in the office that I'm at. So all of those things are really awesome. I just wish that their tops ran more true to size and weren't just so big. I mean, I cannot remember the last time I wore a double XS, like maybe middle school. So even when things are oversized, I've never had to get something that small. And the same thing happened with the underscrub. It looked one way on the picture in the model, and I knew it was going to be a bit of a looser fit. So I decided to size down. But even at the extra small, it was just way too big. And it looked like just a t-shirt I could have purchased for like $25 somewhere else. So some of their things I think are a little gimmicky, and you don't necessarily need to purchase from like a scrubs manufacturer, especially something like an underscrub. But their scrubs, once again, are some of the best quality that I've come across. And I definitely will be continuing to wear these as my primary scrubs because there are so many advantages to them. I do like them a lot more than any of the other scrub brands I've tried. Something that does justify it for me, though, is the fact that they offer student discounts. So if you are a student in college or you are part of the military, they offer a 20% off discount just ongoing a standing discount. So with the 20% off, because I am currently a student, I can absolutely justify the price. But, I don't know if they're worth it. If truth be told, I haven't tried enough scrub tops to know for sure whether or not they're way better than everyone else, but I do know that they are better than the Cherokee scrubs that I typically wear. Anyways, this video is long enough. So I am going to drop my measurements below so that way you can kind of compare it to you and that way you can know what to order, because I feel like even going by the size chart, I probably wouldn't have gotten some of the sizes that I got that did work for me. And if you found this video helpful in any way, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.